The second part in the nutrition section will give you information about a field that scientists call nutrigenetics. So how your body reacts to certain nutrients in your food, how much of each nutrient your body needs, which ones might be counterproductive, and it essentially highlights the need for every person to have a personalized nutritional guideline, because we are so different from one genetic profile to another that it's simply impossible to make one kind of nutritional recommendation that would apply to all. So in the nutrition section, you will first find some information about nutrigenetics. If you click on food comparison, you will find the result of your genetic test. Now, as opposed to the weight management part where we tested 8 genes, this section has more than 50 genes that we tested. And these are largely some of the medical genetic tests that we talk about in the medical section. So we found out all of the important aspects for nutrition from the medical field, but also some others that have some influence on what nutrients are beneficial for you and which ones are not. So here you will essentially find an overview of all of the different genetic tests that we did for this section, and it will tell you if you should increase or decrease certain nutrients in your nutrition. Now, this is for your information. We later have a way of enabling you to very quickly choose which types of food are healthy for you and which are not. So in this section, if the arrow is in the middle or the bar is in the middle, it means that this has a normal effect on you. So if it's known to be unhealthy, it is still unhealthy for you, but it's not specifically or very unhealthy. And if it's more in this area, it's healthy for you. So let's look at alcohol in this example. So alcohol is very unhealthy for this person, so the bar goes to the reduce side. So this person should really try to reduce alcohol as much as possible. Alpha lipoic acid is very healthy for this person, so the bar goes very far in the increased direction. Arachidonic acid, which is a problem for inflammatory diseases, is usually bad for people who have a too aggressive immune system. In this example, the arrow or the bar is quite in the middle, so it's not too critical to look out for this because the genetics are already protecting this person. And so it continues. So this person has a higher requirement of iron, medium requirement for folic acid. Lutein and lycopene are very important, magnesium as well, and so on. Vitamin B12, vitamin B6 are specifically very important vitamins for this person, and so on. So this tells you about a lot of different components that foods can have that might be good or bad for you. Now, if you look at this, you will probably realize that this immediately means that every type of food who has certain amounts of all of these substances will be very hard for you to estimate, is this overall healthy or unhealthy for me? Because you can't just say fruit is healthy, fish is healthy, and fatty meat is unhealthy, because different types of fish have different nutrients, different types of fruit have different nutrients, and they might be more or less healthy for you. And this is essentially what we did. We took all of this into account, and we evaluated more than 900 different types of food, and we looked at how important is a certain substance for you, how much of this substance is in this type of food, what other substances that are particularly bad for you are also included, and then in the end, looking at more than 40 different substances, we estimate, okay, overall this contains more healthy components for you, so it is healthy for you, or more unhealthy components, so you should avoid this type of food. And this you will find in the food list. So I will explain how this is done in the video about the food, for the food list, but this is just the principle that is behind it. We look at all different components, how much of it is included, and is it overall healthy or unhealthy for you. Now, if you click on food comparison explanation, you will find a short summary of all of the different substances that we have, what they're important for, and your your genetics modify your need for more of these substances, or maybe the need to avoid these substances. So in case you're interested, you can read through this section. And in the genetic micronutrient section, you will find your requirement for vitamins. So the best way to cover your vitamin requirement is always healthy nutrition. And this program will help you choose the right types of food. In some cases where you're not able to follow the good nutrition all the time, or you want to support your nutrition through supplements, the NutriU supplements have been specifically created for you to make sure you get the right vitamins in the right amounts based on this genetic recommendation. So here you find your recommendations of iron being required at 20 milligrams and manganese at higher, and so on. And this will essentially tell you how much of each vitamin you require, and the NutriU product will contain exactly these amounts. Now, NutriU is a progressive program. It's something that would be beneficial to take on a daily basis and for the rest of your life. And every time you reorder, we will adapt it to new science, to your change in age. So all of these things can be considered, and we always use the new science to create a new mix for you. So the numbers over time will change a little bit to make sure you always get the newest that is possible in this field. And finally, in the results section, you will find the genetic results for all of the genes that we tested for this section. So it's a very long list. It's only recommended for experts or people who are interested. This is the name of the gene. This is the more or less catalog number of the genetic variation that we're looking for, and this is the individual genetic profile. Now, we tested so many genes that there are 700 trillion potential different combinations of genetic profiles, and only one of them is yours. And so this highlights how highly personalized nutrition needs to be, because we're so different from one person to the next. Now, this explains the whole nutrition section. So we tested a lot of genes that give you information which nutrients are good or bad for you and in what amounts you require them. And the food list will allow you to then use this information to choose the right types of food, so you can follow these recommendations. So do check the video in the food list of how to now use this information to your benefit.